Good afternoon, CES. Woo! Good afternoon. We are so excited to see this place packed. All right, my friends, if you are an innovator and you want to change the lives of millions of people by making aging easier, you are in the right place. Welcome to AARP, AgeTech Collaborative Pavilion here at CES. I'm your host, Danielle Duplin, and we're going to have a conversation about being our full selves, okay? Because here's the story, my friends. As we age, if we're not careful, we may reach a point where our world starts to shrink. We slow down, we hesitate to go on excursions unless the routes are shorter and there's more places to sit, or we stop going out at all. And it's pretty sad, not just for us, but for our friends and family who want to hang out with us, right? Well, I do this work because I believe innovation is optimism. Enter powered footwear that brings back the joy of walking. Luke Mooney is the founder of Dephy and the inventor of the Sidekick. This is technology not to make us superhuman. This is technology that returns us to our full selves so we can get up, get out, and do the things we love. Please welcome Luke Mooney.
Thank you, Danielle. Really appreciate it.
All right, my friend, talk to us about walking. Why is walking a longevity strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, walking is so central and core to so many parts of life and what we want to do, whether it's work, play, hang out with our friends and family for those small moments every day, but especially for those big moments on vacations, trips. And we're really tackling the problem of personal range anxiety.
Okay, pause for a second. Personal range anxiety. I love that. Did you coin that?
I think so.
I think we heard it right here. Okay, go for it. Hashtag personal range anxiety.
Yeah, so it's kind of taken from the EV market where range anxiety, of course, is my battery going to last long enough?
Okay.
But personal range anxiety is, am I going to last long enough? Am I going to be able to walk with my friends, with my family? Am I going to be uncomfortable? Am I going to get tired? Or am I going to slow them down? And so how am I making decisions on how I'm living, what sort of activities I'm opting in or out of based off of this personal range anxiety?
Yeah, and I love your point of view about am I going to slow myself down, which is something maybe we can start to, wrap our minds around, but then you feel the guilt and the shame of slowing other people down.
Right.
So when we talk about this technology, it's not just a personal thing, it's a group thing.
It's a social impact. It's a social effect, whether it's your friends or your family or just anyone that you're spending time with.
Anyone you're spending time with. And I also love the idea of thinking about how can we imagine vacations, for instance, right? We go to Disney a lot with the family, multiple generations. And I have seen over time, like the elders, they kind of say, no, we'll just stay home and sit by the pool. That's what we prefer to do. And I'm thinking they would rather be with the kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is one of my favorite stories of one of our current users. And so he goes on a cruise with his wife every year.
A cruise?
A cruise,
okay.
Yep. Usually out to Europe somewhere. And for the past 5 years, he's had to stay on the cruise ship while his wife explores the port cities.
Oh.
Right, and so he had some injuries, some challenges with his gait. And this past year, we were able to get him some Bionic Footwear. And he was able to explore Europe with his wife on these vacations. And that's really why we're doing it.
I love it. So we do talk a lot about age tech to bring the joy back, but we also, now I know this is not a medical device,
right?
But if we remain sedentary, there could be medical health outcomes. So are you finding that people are getting up and out more and it's helping their overall health?
Right, exactly. So one of my favorite terms from a PT we met was motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion.
And
okay.
The idea is that you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. And, sometimes people ask, hey, if I'm getting assistance, am I going to get lazy? And it's the complete opposite. It's what we see in the e-bike industry where what it is it's an enabler to get out there in the first place. Mm-hmm. So you're going from 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day to maybe 6, 7, 8, 10,000 steps.
So can we say this is like an e-bike, but for your feet?
Exactly.
Okay. Beautiful. Love it. Okay. So now we talk a lot about like robotics and it sounds intimidating, but you've designed something that is very sleek, I would say, because I did have a chance to wear it around Vegas the other day and people are loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we call it powered footwear. And, in order to have an impact and in order for people to use it, there's a 3-part test I like to use.
Okay.
One, it's got to do something. It's got to actually help them.
Okay.
2, it's got to be comfortable, right? It's got to be something you want to wear. But 3 is it actually has to be accessible. You have to be able to put it on your body in a few seconds. It shouldn't take as much, should take as long as putting on your shoes. And so, making it small, lightweight, was really a goal for us.
And I'm sure that took decades of technology,
Only
research.
1 decade.
Only one decade. Okay. But a really, really good decade. But lots of technology, lots of research, lots of trials and error. So I'd love for you to go over a little bit of the technology before we get to a demo. So help us understand your background, what inspired you, and how did you think about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was about 12 years ago, working on a PhD with Professor Hugh Herr, who's actually in the audience today. And we were working on robotic ankles and knees for folks that had lost their limbs. And so this is a really difficult problem of how do you actually rebuild the human body and kind of bring back that capability that someone's lost. But along the way, we thought, hey, can we use similar technology to help people that have their limbs? And if we do that, which joint should we target? And this was a really big breakthrough for us. And this is the idea that the calf is the unsung hero of mobility.
The calf.
The calf,
Because
yeah.
we often focus on the quads.
Right. Folks immediately think the big muscle groups,
Yeah.
right? The thighs, the hips. But when you're walking, about 60% of the energy you use in order to walk is coming from your calf muscle during that 100 milliseconds that you're pushing off the ground. So it's an incredibly important joint. And actually, it's, there's a lot of hypotheses out there on why we might generate or develop things like knee osteoarthritis. And it might be because we're losing calf functionality and going from that dynamic natural gait to a more of a static vertical gait. And so all of these things we were realizing, and not only is it a very impactful joint, but it's one that you can assist comfortably because we're all used to wearing shoes. So the shoe is an amazing platform for wearables. And then our shin is a very comfortable spot as well.
Right, because we talk about AgeTech where it's like strapping on wearables everywhere. So we're trying to like really augment the whole body, which is kind of cool and fun. But you've picked a design aesthetic and a design modality that is very comfortable, particularly as we think about the age group that you're targeting, which is 50 plus, folks who are kind of like easing our way into using assistive technology.
Absolutely. So not only does it have to be comfortable, but it has to be usable.
Yes.
And so we spent many years working on the ergonomics of, someone might have limited flexibility or limited dexterity. And so how do you provide solutions where someone can don and doff it themselves without assistance?
Okay, that is super important. We're seeing a lot of shoe design of just slipping in, for instance. We're seeing shoe design that allows you to shuffle before you plant. Right? So bending over. Okay, right. So it's not just fixing the problem of walking. It's all about putting it on, maintaining it, etc.
Exactly.
Okay.
We can build incredible technology, but if it takes a PhD to put it on, it's not going to be very accessible.
All right. Well, speaking of PhD to put it on, I think we should do a demo, and maybe you should help.
Absolutely. Let's do
Okay.
it.
All right. So we have our friend, Dr. Barry Hoffman, who is going to give us a demo, right? So Barry, why don't you come on up? And Luke, if you could, well, actually, this is the background, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to talk through this before we see the...
We can do a demo.
All right, let's do the demo. All right. Come here, Barry. All right. So Barry already has the shoes on. So why don't you start talking about that?
Great, yeah. So the Dephy Sidekick is a full system. So it comes right now with a pair of specialized shoes. And those shoes have a carbon plate in their soles, very similar to some of the advanced running shoes you see on the market today. But what we're using these carbon fiber soles for is as a connection point in the heel. So you can wear the shoes as normal shoes, but then they have a cleat on the back similar to a bike cleat. And so what Allie's doing right now is she just clipped it onto the back of the left shoe. And now she is attaching the left shin guard of the device. And you can think of this like a soccer shin guard, and then it just has a Velcro strap that attaches. There's a couple opportunities here for adjustment. So when you buy the device, it is personalized to your body and your shape, because being a wearable, it's important how it sits on your body, and we want it to be as seamless as possible. And so, this is something that I think a lot of us take for granted, but, in a matter of seconds, the robot was on and is essentially ready to go. And so what Allie's going to do now is insert the batteries, which are replaceable batteries, and they last about 5 miles at the middle power level. And I think we're ready to get going.
Okay, so step 1, tell us what happens before she starts walking.
Yeah, so what's happening right now is the device is unpowered. And so she's walking around and they probably feel just like a heavy pair of shoes. But as she goes, a few steps away, she's going to turn them on. And after over a few seconds, the device will initialize itself to her body, kind of understand where it is. And this is where the magic starts to happen. When she first starts walking, they actually won't do anything. They're just going to stay out of her way. They're going to watch and observe her gait, and then develop a customized, personalized assistance for her. And the reason is we are all have very unique gaits. You can actually identify someone based on their gait. And so the robot has to adapt. You can't force someone to walk a certain way that they've been learning how to walk literally their entire lives.
Right.
So she's now training it. It takes about 20 steps, and we'll see how it goes here. It should turn on, somewhere around the end of the stage.
How does it feel? You look gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, I just got it. That's fantastic. Wow. My steps feel so much lighter as I go along.
How do you feel from Are you feeling steady, Barry?
I feel very steady. Yeah, very balanced. It feels natural, actually. I think there's just a little extra lift, for me as I try to take a step.
Okay. And so, Luke, is it just one little lift, or can you change the power if you want more?
Yeah, so it has multiple power levels.
Keep going.
And so if you just want a little bit of assistance, you can use a low power level. But sometimes if you're going up maybe some steep inclines or you need that extra boost, it also has a medium and high level power as well. One of the things that was really important to us was, how do we make it as simple to use as possible? And so you'll see that the power levels are actually just buttons on the device. There's no app, there's no account. It's really just a tool that you place on your body and it just starts working.
And then the maintenance, right? Just to power the batteries.
Yep.
Is there much more than that? It seems like it's pretty simple to pack to go on vacation.
Right.
Put that in a suitcase. So how does that feel, Barry?
Oh, I thought it felt fantastic. Very easy, light, just enhancing a little bit of what I'm naturally doing.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how this might maybe just reduce fatigue for me if I'm going on a long journey. I'm not feeling my best that day. It was great.
Beautiful. I'll tell you, once you take them off, you really feel like lead. Right? So you're going to want them back on the rest of the day, especially to do CES. I think we all walk miles when we're here. Yeah.
This might need to be like the shoe for next year's CES, right?
I think so. All right. So this is outstanding. Tell us about some of the feedback that you're getting for folks who are early adopters of the Dephy.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. And, I feel like every demo we do, we're learning about a new challenge someone has with mobility. And, different ways that by providing this, extra calf muscle, essentially, how that power is able to redistribute to the ankles, the knees, the hips, the lower back. And it's the human body is just incredible. It figures out the new ways to use this energy source and then provide that assistance to the person.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if somebody says, well, I have trouble walking, but there might be other conditions that they're feeling, right? So you mentioned back pain or so forth. So how do people come to you initially, right, as customers? Who's reaching out to you? What are their use cases?
Yeah, for sure. So, one way we describe our customers are freedom reclaimers. And
one more time?
Freedom reclaimers.
Freedom reclaimers. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and that's
Keep
because
going.
mobility is such a source of freedom. And
Wow.
so these are folks that have it and they can walk maybe 1,000, 2,000 steps a day, but they're really looking for that solution to extend it, to get to the 5, 6, 10,000 steps a day. And, that's a really important part for us, is that drive to want to continue to walk.
Okay, so then how do we get past the barrier, if there is one, about this being a robot that's walking for you? Is it going to walk too fast? Is it going to make you walk longer than maybe you should? How do you calibrate the safety and the just overall psychological feeling that you're still in charge?
Yeah, absolutely. And this was really important for our safety posture, is the design around a collaborative robot, right? So when you're walking with it, it's not walking for you, it's just there providing assistance. And we think of it like pushing a child on a swing. In key moments, it's injecting that little bit of assistance, but otherwise you're under control and you're really driving it. And what's amazing, again, the human body being amazing, is after a minute or two of walking, it basically disappears.
Ah.
And what happens is the body is actually learning how to adapt to this new system, and the system is continuing to learn how to adapt to you, and it just becomes part of you.
So tell us more about that. How does it adapt to you, and what is it helping you do while it's in motion?
Yeah, so it's using onboard sensors, adaptive controls. Some folks might call it AI. We typically aren't using that, but
Okay.
it is a form of that. And so it adapts to you, it learns your gait, and then when it creates that personalized assistance, it's essentially offloading your calf a little bit during each step. But what's incredible, and this was actually the last paper I published before joining Dephy or starting Dephy,
Okay.
is that power then comes up to the knees and hips also. And we really weren't expecting that.
Fascinating. So this really can be a whole body wellness. I mean, we're thinking about it for the walking use case, but it truly can be something that could help you with overall feeling of well-being.
Of course. And we know that the longer you walk, both in terms of time and distance, the healthier and healthier your cardiovascular system and kind of everything else will be.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I have to walk in the woods about 4 miles a day, and if I don't, I just don't feel me. And the path I take is a lot of hills. So I think I would lose a part of my identity, if not just overall health and well-being, if I couldn't be in the woods.
Yeah.
So does this help with hills and different contours, and or is it just for carpet?
Yeah. Yeah, and so of course, and so making it really accessible to the real world and not the laboratory. Like, it might rain in the real world. There might be mud. There's going to be grass and stones and
Yes.
different things. And so that's really what took us over a decade, was developing that intelligence to be able to adapt to these different modalities.
Yeah, because like you say, you want people to just forget that they're wearing it. And you certainly don't want to have to make accommodations like, well, I could walk to the grocery store, but not to the park, right? So
Right.
you can use the Sidekick everywhere.
Right.
Amazing.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so now I'm imagining all these folks wearing the Sidekick. I can imagine seeing them in the park with their grandkids, maybe at Disney, playing golf. Can you wear it to play golf?
Yeah, I did a couple months ago.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, that's awesome. So that's like the individual use cases. Talk to us then about larger scale deployments, people who work on their feet all day. Because one thing we do talk about in AgeTech is we don't want to wait until we're old to start taking care of things. We want to do interventions early enough, particularly if we have physical jobs, so that we could, prevent decline from happening.
Yeah.
So talk to us about folks in all parts of life who could benefit from a Sidekick.
Right, and that really is the impact of mobility, is that our entire life is revolves around it. And so we're working with some folks who actually provide kind of workers and assistants at large concert venues and sports stadiums.
Okay.
And these are ushers and workers who have developed these relationships with some of the season ticket holders, and people actually choose games to go to based off of which usher is working.
Oh, that's
Right?
really sweet.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that, and so very sweet. But of course, you're on your feet all day or all night, and it takes a toll. And sometimes they're aging out, and so they're really excited to keep them on their feet and keep them be able to keep working and keep engaging with the fan base.
What I love about that too is it's kind of normalizing this technology for the every person, right? So we often think about exoskeleton technology for factory workers or military or, very kind of like hardcore jobs. But here we're talking about like an usher who gets to stay working
Right.
for that many more years. And again, that is another social benefit of technology for aging, is that we want to stay in the game longer. We all want to keep working, keep socializing, keep earning money, keep doing the things we love. And you mentioned the work is their social.
Right.
So there's a twofer right there. All right, so you now have some fabulous partners.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of your recent collaborations and what's ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So in October, we were announced as Nike's robotics partner for Project Amplify.
Woo!
Thank you. And so we're super excited for this partnership. That is a separate project and separate product that I can't talk too much about.
Okay.
But what it represents for us is that this is happening. Powered footwear is in our futures, and there's so many different people it's going to help and impact. And so we're super excited to be partnering with them.
And again, the more that we get it out into all these different contexts, I think it'll spark the imagination, because more and more people will come to you. They'll see, they'll say, I've got a use case for that, or I have a fleet of employees that I want to help, or I have activities that I want to do, or maybe there might be whole new cruise lines that specialize in having sidekicks, right? So people can get out and do the off-boat excursions and come back. So I can see this really opening up so much for so many people. So I would now love to open it up for questions from all of you. Questions, ideas, creative insights. Yes, and we have a microphone here, if you wouldn't mind just stepping to the mic. And then Luke, I'll ask you what's next, even though this was amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it looks like when I put it on, I look like a robot. Can I wear it under my pant?
Yeah, it's actually one of the things we're excited about is this new trend of large pant legs. It's I'm serious.
So I need a new pant. Huh?
Yeah, it's a very fair point, sir. And so we are every day working on making it smaller, more compact.
Can I ask you how much it costs me?
Sure. So we launched actually a few days ago for $4,500, which is the entire system, the footwear, sidekicks, batteries, chargers.
Do I have to pay monthly for the software?
No, you absolutely do not. And it's actually something that just recently happened is it's HSA, FSA reimbursable.
So
That's a huge sign, by the way. Okay, props for that. I'm just saying, because that's really tough to convince the payers that this is something, right, that is preventative. Yeah, go ahead.
Does that mean my insurance will pay for it?
No. So HSA, FSA dollar accounts can be used.
Oh, I see.
But wait, it's the first step. It's the first signal. Yeah.
Can I run with it?
You can run with it, but we really, have designed it for walking.
Okay, thank you.
I will say when I tried it on the other day, I had a long skirt. So ladies, men, whoever is wearing long skirts, it fits beautifully underneath and you never know. But I got to tell you, it's so cool. You're going to want to wear it on the outside because people will ask you about it. And it really brings up some fabulous conversations. Any more questions?
You said about military. Have it any protection from water, from other stuff like?
Yeah. So it was designed to be, I believe, IP66. So right now we can use it out in the rain, puddles, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, and have you think about now for connect with shoes, you need special shoes, and maybe in future it will be for any shoes. You think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can also partner with a shoe company to expand the shoe options. But no.
If only there were a shoe company.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, no. In our future, I think there are shoe agnostic solutions as well, because sometimes you just want to wear your own shoes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
But I will say I love the connection because with the shoes that you have because you don't really have to bend down and fuss with it. It really just clicks right in.
Right.
So it is streamlined.
Yep.
So if you're looking at Barry, it doesn't even look like Dephy shoes. It just looks like fabulous kicks.
Yeah. It was actually one of the things that surprised us is the carbon plate in it, the shoe as itself, is actually helpful for certain foot conditions.
Oh, okay, great. Now, so it's already very stylish because of what it is, but you're also doing some customizations, right? So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a wearable device, and so because it's wearable, it's part of fashion. It's part of your personal identity. And some of the feedback we got early on from users was, how do I customize it? How do I, make it different colors? How do I get to match my outfit or my personal style? So there are some color options. It's limited. It's about 5 or 6 colors right now, but they look pretty cool.
Okay, awesome. All right, any more questions? Because I could talk to Luke all day about this. Yeah. All right, so this was amazing, and it took a long time to get here, and congratulations on commercializing. So you are on a rocket ship, but you also must be thinking about the future. So give us a little hint about what's in your vision plan or your roadmap for what comes next. Is it smaller, faster, cheaper? Is it other parts of the body? Where are you thinking?
Yeah. We're really excited to finally get this out into the world and understand how users are really using it. And that's what's really going to guide us and direct us on what comes next. And so, of course, we want to make it smaller, lighter, more affordable, all those things. But also just some of these, new use cases we're going to discover and some of these new opportunities that will show themselves in the coming months. That's really how we're going to be designing the next generation.
Okay, so what's your call to action to the folks here at CES and all the folks that they are connected with in terms of reaching out to you to be those customers? Is it one-off? Do you want bigger groups like senior living communities, or tell us how you want to engage with customers?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're interested as an individual, of course, you can go to Dephy.com. But we recognize that this is a physical experience. It's really hard to look on a screen and understand what that is. And so, we're always looking for partners. We call them awareness partners, where they are part of facilities or organizations where people are already coming to walk. And we love to have demos there or even provide permanent fleets there for people to use.
Yeah, I'm thinking of all this, like the senior living councils in your neighborhood, right? If you had a collection of sidekicks, right, for folks to do activities together, and then it just helps with the socializing, but also the awareness, as you mentioned, people getting more comfortable with it.
Right, absolutely.
Luke, this was outstanding. I am so psyched. Thank you so much for coming to CES. A big part of when I look at AgeTech, there's certain mantras. One, for sure, is evidence-based solutions, right? So thank you for doing the hard science to get here. We also talk about style over stigma. So thank you for doing something that, while it does look like a robotic device, it's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. So thank you. And my also mantra with this work is we want to solve for possibilities, not just problems, right? So thank you deeply for returning the power of people to be able to reclaim. You say reclaim your freedom. And I frame that as like reclaiming your joy as well, right? Being able to get back to doing the things you love to do with all the people you love to do it with. So Luke, thank you. And to the whole Dephy team, thank you.